When I got out of the military, I had a hard time translating my military experience into the civilian world. I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for my wife, I probably would have been that homeless or impoverished vet. But it can be easier with the right support. I'm Mark Casper, and I'm the Executive Director of Tech4Troop's. In today's world, you have to have a computer to be able to apply for jobs. Our mission is to empower veterans in need with computers and training to get back in the workforce.
Here at Tech4Troop's, we're here to push you forward to get you back to where you want to be in life. When the veterans come in, I teach them everything you could think of that's done with a computer. I want them to feel that this is a tool that's going to help them get their life back.
I went into a kind of a deep depression. Eventually, I lost my job and I was out on the street. The computer was able to connect me to the web, and I was able to start putting resumes out. And you have to have these small building blocks to get from point A to point B. I'm not worried about employment anymore.
The need is great, and we want to be able to support our veterans across the nation.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the IWM broadcast of the Tech4Troop's Cup Series. I am your host, Rick Sousa, my co-host, John DeRugis, here in the booth. We're here bringing you the 1111 Veteran Project 40 at the Glen. That's right. These oval racers are now at a road course and set to face off once qualifying ends.
It's going to be a fun night here tonight, Rick, because this is a track and a style of racing that we have not seen yet out of these Cup Series drivers. And we are already on our qualifying times for the night. Qualifying is underway, and they only have 5 minutes to complete 2 laps. So they got to make it count, and you have to go out quick because it'll take about 3.5 minutes to finish your qualifying run. But Rick, there's some road course ringers in this league, and a few of them possibly are going to be looking for their first win of the season to lock themselves into the chase and for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for someone who may not be quite so strong at a 1.5 mile track or a short track, who may have this road race experience to really show it here, especially in these Cup cars, which race like an IMSA car, that are just really geared towards that balanced road feel that you need to get around the Glen.
Yep, exactly. And, you know, that's kind of showing right now as we look on board with Luke Bullard there. There's Joey Doucette as well. We got some lap times being formed with Christopher Worrell putting up a 111.91 and then Pittman topping him with a 111.85. So Pittman trying to get a win. Is this going to be a place where he can possibly pull it off, or will Worrell or Howell maybe coming to the top of the board? There is Ryan Pittman right there in that 08 machine looking to get a victory on the season. And it's going to be interesting to see who qualifies, who doesn't, because, Rick, it's a road course. There are no cautions, only local cautions. So we'll see what happens as the field starts to populate here with under a minute and a half to go in qualifying. If you're on your first lap, you better be hustling the line because time is going to end here fairly soon. But let's pull up your track facts for tonight's 11-11 Veterans Project 40 at the Glen before we get started here, as the grid is going to be populated here very, very soon. Rick, if you could pull up those track facts. There we go. Alrighty. So we have 40 laps here tonight with 60% fuel, 1 quick repair, and 3 sets of tires. It's a hot one, too. 116 degrees here on this 2.42-mile road course. And Rick, let me ask you this. Do you think tires are going to be as important as other tracks here at the Glen?
I really don't think so. Although it is a little bit hot, so it could be a factor. My biggest concern here is that you said it great earlier. You've got some guys who are just experts on road, and you've got others who are just going to basically just try to figure out how to survive. So it's going to be a battle of those guys here, just trying to figure out. And you know what? It is about points. So you've got, we're already deep into the points already, and there's guys that need wins to advance to that next level.
Absolutely. And, let's really quick, let's see if we can pull up the point standings. If we can, or are we about to go to grid?
I think we're about to go to grid. We're just kind of waiting for everything to kind of reset itself. And
all right, let's do it. We have about 25 to 24 people here in the field, maybe down to 23. And it looks like we are about to get the grid here for tonight's 11-11 Veteran Project 40 at the Glen. There they are lining up on the front stretch, and here is your starting lineup for tonight's 11-11 Veterans Project 40 at the Glen. Starting on the pole with the only 110 in the field, Christopher Worrell there on the pole. Ryan Pittman starting in second with Andrew Surwick in third, Austin Armstrong in fourth, Christopher Howell, last week's runner, rounding out your top 5 with Alonzo King in sixth. Mark Feeney was strong in practice, ran a P7 here in qualifying. Joey Doucette, your current point leader in P8. Zachary Allen in the 24 machine starting in 9th. And Ty Bostic in the 10th position in that number 22 Southern E Motorsports ride.
In 11th position, you've got William Mann Jr. in the 29. In 12th, John Ledger in the 19. In 13th, Paul Ballenstein in the 89. On the outside, Hermas Castro in the 25. In 15th position, Sean Shupman in the 37, and Harley Barletta is on the outside in the 81. In 17th position, Marco Berube in the 99, and outside, Ian Ogden in the 21. In 19th position, David Watts in the 54, and you've got Evan Amick on the outside in the 77. Mike Slagner's in 21st place in the 14th, and Luke Bullard in the 3 is in 22nd. In 23rd, Brad Previtt in the 91, and Pete Woodrum is in 24th position in that number 1. And that pretty much wraps up the field and the starting order. We're about to go and get underway. Everybody has, I think, made it to the grid.
I think they have, and if they haven't, then they're going to start from pit road, which isn't a terrible place to start, but it's not opportunistic to get out front.
I think John Ledger is in the pits. I'm not sure what happened with John, but he is starting from the pits.
John Ledger, let's see, he did not run a qualifying time. So, actually, I take that back. He did. He ran a 1:15.5, the slowest out of the qualifiers. So, we'll see if that may be why he started from the back. But right now, your field is going to go around this long 2.5-mile road course with the Porsche pace car out front.
So, this is Watkins Glen. This is a road course, and there's some interesting things here at Watkins Glen. You can easily get off this track, especially in some areas. I think it's probably a good time to talk about, John, your keys for the race tonight.
So let's go through them. So it's a road course, so we're going to be going a little bit different style here of racing, like we've mentioned before. But one thing that's going to play a major role is your pit strategy. They have 60% fuel. You can't get around this place without pitting, so pit strategy is going to be key. Second, braking in turn one. Turn one bites a lot of people. We saw Jimmy Johnson have issues back early in his career when he ran right into the fence, and a lot of drivers have issues around turn. Braking into turn one is going to be key to running a fast lap. The third key of the race, finding places to pass. Watkins Glen, you have to be careful and you have to make sure your passes are calculated. If not, you could put yourself and the rest of the field really in danger by making a last-second move down before a corner. Or if you try to go and pass somebody through the bus stop, you may be in the marbles. So pit strategy, braking into turn one, and finding places to pass are the keys for tonight's race.
Yeah, your microphone is cutting out a little bit there, John. Let's try to, hopefully that clears itself up as we get closer to green flag here. I'm going to throw up the points real quick, just so people can see just where we are. Joey Doucette is our leader. Ryan Pittman, Harley Barletta, and Hermas Castro. We'll get to the points later some more as the pace car drops off.
Here we go. Green flag is in the air, and the rest of the field is not lined up, but we have a green flag. Worrell is taking no time getting a chance on the field, but we may go 3 wide.
That doesn't work.
And it looks like we have some contact between the 88 and Ryan Pittman. As the field starts to cycle through, there is Alonzo King.
So this is not the easiest course to pass on. We'll see lots of places where you'll want to pass, especially here at the bus stop. Super hard to get through the bus stop.
Yeah, we have a lot of cars sliding in there right now. Car off the track. That was Mark Feeney causing a stack up in the bus stop. Looks like everybody was able to make it out okay.
And farther back in the field, we'll try to drop back to get a feel for what's happening behind the leaders.
Yep, that's where all the action is right now. Another very hard braking corner right there before you get to the front straightaway. There's Mike Slapper up the track.
Somebody tagged the wall back there. I think that may have been Sean Shootman. That was Sean Shootman.
And he was stuck. His car was stuck in the wall. So Sean Shootman's day is probably over with that long tow. So 1 lap complete. Your top 5 as it stands. Chris Worrell in first. Andrew Serwick in second. Ryan Pittman in third. Austin Armstrong in fourth. And Christopher Howell round out your top 5.
So as you can see, there is a pretty big gap between the top 6. Already there's another 4 to 5 seconds once you start looking at position 7 with Zachary Allen here. And they're beginning to stretch out that gap. Paul Valentine and leads this next group of cars that are coming through. You've got Hermas Castro behind Paul and Joey Doucette as well.
And you already have some drivers that are 20-plus seconds behind the leader already. David Watts, John Ledger, all the way in the back, and you have basically 15th on back, 10-plus seconds behind the rest of the field. So we'll see what they are able to do later in the race. But here we have some pressure from Hermas Castro. The back open to 89, spins him out. Hermas Castro to the bumper of the 89 and spun him around.
I don't think Paul's going to be quite happy about that little incident, because now he's got oncoming traffic he's going to work to avoid.
There he comes. All right, going to get that car turned around, and Paul is going to drop to the very tail end of the line. He is going to be the last car outside of Sean Shootman on the lead lap. So,
yep, that certainly does make it a bit more challenging to catch back up. This is not a really easy track to make up track positions on, but Paul's got the road racing skills. Let's see how he does it.
He was not very happy over the radio, and I would be the same way. I mean, no reason to have that going on. But you know what? Let me tell you this. In road course racing, you just have to keep going because you never know what's going to happen. Everybody may make a mistake. You never know. Some people may get wrecked out. You never know. It's the craziness of how road course racing goes. As you can see, the 81 of Harley Barletta go a little bit wide there, gets a little loose, as the 25 is now to the right side of Sean Shootman. I believe that is not for position. But Rick, like I said, anything can happen on a road course, so you just got to keep on going.
And the funny thing is, that's the challenge with the road course, because everybody brakes differently. My braking points are different than yours, and they're just different from each driver. So you've got to be really on top of it as you watch that guy in front of you, and really keep an eye to your rearview mirror.
Yeah, you almost have to play, in offensive, defensive mode, if that makes sense. You have to be aggressive and not give up a spot, but you also have to be wary of the driver behind you that may be ready just to plow right into your bumper. So it's a tricky game to play, and with these cars, it even makes it even tougher, as you see Hermes Castro using every inch of that back straightaway, technically, if you want to consider it the back straightaway, to be able to get around. Here you go, whoa, hot into that corner right there, as he's now approaching the 25, Zachary Allen. 25's getting in there hot. He still has the momentum on the 24, as the 24 goes to the bottom side down the front stretch. 25, Hermes Castro now up to P7 on the board.
He definitely breaks way later than a lot of these guys out there. He's definitely taken a much more aggressive approach to this. And frankly, there are some issues here on this course. If you wind up getting off track, even though you're in the runoff or the run out on turn one, you're going to wind up getting some incident points, and hopefully you'll stay clean. But too many of those, you'll find yourself in the penalty box.
Yeah, no, it's definitely tricky, and what I've seen here, and with racing in multiple different cars here on this track, aggressiveness does pay off. I mean, you got to be calculated with it, but knowing where you can brake, knowing where you can out-throttle the opponent, knowing where you can go off track and back on track, it pays off. And Hermes Castro has been able to find speed and been able to really almost put drivers what looks like almost, in a different category, because he's out-braking them every corner. And I think that's kind of what we've seen here with a lot of these other drivers that he's tried to get around. He's just simply has a different braking zone. And that's, like you mentioned, it's a part of road course racing. He may have a different braking zone than every other driver on the track. So it's a matter of how you run this.
Well, he has moved up 7 spots. He started in 14th. He's now up to 7th.
He is, and right now Christopher Worrell is about 3 seconds ahead of Andrew Surwick, and that battle for second and third is brewing between Surwick and Pittman. So let's see if we can maybe take a look up there, see what's going on. There's Surwick, there's Pittman, and then you have the 13 of Armstrong all right there battling for second, third, and fourth. Oh, and as something that we like to call the commentator's curse, just struck the 43.
And in the 8 too. We're focusing on these guys, and unfortunately, a little bit of stage fright maybe.
Maybe. Let's see what the 13's able to do down here in the corner. Gives enough room.
He's got him good. 13 went through turn 1 just textbook.
Yep, that's exactly how you want to do it. You want to give the guy on the outside enough, but with also, playing an aggressive line so you don't get passed. And there is the 13 into the wall. Here comes the 08 down to the bottom side. This is going to be interesting going into the bus stop. Who is going to give? Because you can't go too wide.
13 backed off, took a very aggressive cut coming out, and he is right on the bumper of that 8 of Ryan Pittman.
Let's see if he's able to get a run right here. They both slide off the track, back on. No penalty there. He takes a wider angle right here, which is going to get a better run off the... See if he's able to produce anything on the front stretch.
That's a good cut at it.
Looks like we had some contact with Ty Bostic and the 21 of Ian Ogden.
off, that too wide for Surwick, and then he cuts the nose across the 13 there. We'll jump back to Ty Bostic. Oh, in the cone, took out a cone there. So a little bit of damage on that 22.
Damage doesn't really, matter too much on a road course because it's not really focused on aerodynamics. Drafting down the long straightaways will be affected a little bit, but as long as you don't damage anything that has any kind of, body, as in your toe links, you don't bend the frame where your balance is going to be offset. As long as you don't damage anything with your engine, it doesn't really matter what the outside of your car looks like. So we'll see what these guys are able to do right now. 10 laps in to tonight's 11-11 Veteran Project 40 at the Glen, brought to you by the 11-11 Veteran Project, Tech4Troop's, U-Haul, and Elite Performance Industries. We thank you all for tuning in tonight to tonight's road rally here at the Glen. And if you like what you're new to the channel, we would love for you to give us a like and a subscribe, because we produce out a lot of different broadcasts, and we hope to have more broadcasts in the future and show you a wider variety of motorsports and sim racing. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a like, drop a subscribe. We appreciate you for tuning in.
All right, so while we're 10 laps in here at the Glen, we're going to take a very brief commercial message. You won't miss anything. We'll run it side by side, and we'll be right back.
When veterans get out of the military, a lot of them don't know how to translate their skill sets into the civilian world, and they lapse into poverty or into homelessness. But it can be easier with the right support. At Tech4Troop's, our mission is to empower veterans in need with computers and training to get back in the workforce. We want to be able to support our veterans across the nation.
All right, welcome back to the 11-11 Veterans Project 40 at the Glen. I'm Rick Souza here with John DeRudris, my co-host for the IWM Broadcast Network. We're bringing you the Tech4Troop's Cup Series here every Wednesday night. And as John said earlier, if you like what you see, if you want to stay up to catch up what's happening with this series and other series that we cover, please like and subscribe to our broadcast, and we'd love to have you. So a quick racing update. We'll jump on board with Chris Worrell. This is Chris Worrell. He is currently leading by 6.4 seconds over Andrew Surwick and Ryan Pittman.
Yep, putting on a little bit of a clinic right now, and we've seen him up front in other races, so this is not too unfamiliar for that number 8 machine.
So my guess, as these laps wind down sometime around lap 20, there's going to be a couple of things happening. One, pit stops will begin to come into play, but more importantly, these leaders will begin to catch up to those guys who are running at the tail end of the field. There is about 30 plus seconds that separates the first to last.
Yeah, we're already seeing some of these lap down cars play a little bit of a role in how this race goes on. So we'll see what's happening. They've run roughly about 24 miles right now on this current tank of gas. So with my calculations, they should be coming in here roughly, like you said, within the next really, 7 to 10 laps would be my guess. Probably no more than lap 20 to split this half and half. So we'll see who the first taker is. You may see some short pitters. I mean, I definitely wouldn't go for a 2-stop strategy. It's definitely a 1-stop strategy track if you're able to make it to 20. But right now, Christopher Worrell is looking pretty good as Surwick, Pittman, Armstrong, and Howell make up the top 5.
Interestingly enough, you'll see how quickly this has become feast or famine. The top 5 are separated by 10 seconds, but then it drops to 16 seconds with the 25 Castro, and then really 10th place is nearly 40 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, it's definitely the product of this race. If you start up front, the advantage is almost indescribable compared if you start in the back. And a good example of that is Hermaz Castro. Castro's been putting up great times right now. He's been putting up, and you know what, Rick? That's the second time that we've done that and somebody's gotten in the grass or gotten a little damage. So we need to make sure that we be careful who we talk about because they may get some incidents here. We promise we're not doing it on purpose. But Castro is running he's running down the leader. It was at a high 16.5, high 17-second gap. Now it's down to roughly 15.5. But the thing is he's 15 seconds back. He's running faster than the leader, but he's 15 seconds back. So it's a matter of where you are on the track, and like you position, it matters more than anything in road course racing.
Well, interestingly enough, Chris Worrell's last lap was a 1:11.98. A 1:11.98. That's not far off of qualifying time.
Yeah, to put that into perspective, he ran faster than 75% of everybody else who qualified with that time. With that lap right there, ran faster than 75% of the qualifiers, and he's in the race.
Yep. You can see the last lap best. Well, let's just do that again. The last time is up on the board now, so you can see Worrell ran a 1:11.97. And then you go down to the number 6 position of Hermaz Castro. He ran a 1:11.63 that time by.
Yeah, he's slowly catching them, but still very far behind. I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge to catch that leader, especially since he's 15 seconds back. He's running great lap times, but unless that top 5 make a mistake, he's pretty much all by himself.
Yeah, this is not a drafting track. There's no benefit with running with somebody. In fact, if anything, it could be more of an advantage of that person holding you up and not allowing you to drive your race.
It looks like we got a battle for second place right now between Surwick and Pittman, though. They're swapping positions as they go down into turn 1. They're all stacked up. Surwick got back around the 08 of Pittman.
And you've got Armstrong right there on their tail end.
Yeah, we've seen this a couple laps ago where these drivers were all placed getting into each other. So we'll see who's able to make it out on top right now. The 13 gets a little bit squirrely right there. But this is the hottest battle on the track. Everybody else is kind of spread out and no one's really around each other.
Yeah, the field is certainly spread out. We'll bring up a track map in a second to kind of get a feel for, so you can see just where we are at. So you can see that the track is full of cars in every single corner here at Watkins Glen.
Pittman tried to go down to the bottom side of the 43, wasn't able to do it, had to be in absolute defensive mode, so the 13 of ours didn't go back around him. That track is full of cars. Everybody's surrounded. I mean, the top 10 is separated 46 seconds, rather. So, big gaps. Big gaps.
They're coming up on some lap traffic here. That's the one of Pete Woodrum that basically, and you can see the sportsmanship. He basically says, okay, I'm not the fastest guy. You guys can go through. And they're working their way up through lap traffic.
Here's a 13, able to make a move, maybe? No, not quite. Put these guys under a blanket, though. They're running that close.
Yep, they're next. They're going to come up next on to Ty Bostic. I believe he's at the tail end of the lap.
He's going to catch these guys at kind of a bad time. Well, Bostic may be able to kind of evade. We'll see.
He's right there. Though he's only got about 6 car lengths between himself and those guys. Pittman trying to move a little bit outside.
A very risky move by Pittman, but he definitely tucked down behind. There is Ty Bostic now going to the bottom side of the track with everybody else going to the high side. See if anybody's able to get a run. I would not recommend it, but you
Now
may
this
see
is in
somebody
the
get a
bus
run.
stop, into the bus stop.
Oh,
Oh.
no! Yep.
And unfortunately, that was that contact with the 13 in Bostic, I believe.
I believe so.
Let's go
Did he
back
get
and
pinched?
we're watching.
I mean, he's on that white line.
I'm not sure there was contact per se, but it was certainly close.
I don't think there was actually any contact. He did a nice job keeping it off everything, though, so he was able to get that car turned back around.
All right, good for Ty.
And the battle is back on. Now up to 11 seconds. And now Christopher Howell enters the picture. There's Pittman down to the bottom side of circle.
Definitely these,
place to battle.
they're side by side now. Oh, Ryan, Pittman got a little loose there. That opened the door for the 13, and we are coming back to the bus stop.
Pittman and Howell are going side by side.
They're close. As we come to the carousel here, you've got the 43 of Surwick with the 13 of Armstrong right on his tail. Ryan Pittman not far behind, and obviously Christopher Howell behind him. They're doing their best to try and track down the leaders, but they've now got John Ledger. He's next in line. He's their next victim potentially.
Yeah, it'll happen. It's a matter of time, but it'll happen.
Oh, 43 is in the pits.
Oh, wow. First time we are seeing somebody go down pit road. Interesting strategy. So here on lap 17, we have our first taker, Andrew Surwick, in the 43.
There's got to be something that this may just be where the pit strategies are going to begin. We may see others come down soon. We'll keep an eye here.
Yep, and the thing is that Whirl is still running 11s. I mean, like, there's not even a competition. I mean, like, he's still running 111s. I mean, it's crazy how much faster he's running than these guys.
Let's bring up that tower, get an idea. My gosh, he's got a 16-second lead right now. Let's go. Let's try to pick up Chris Worrell. Oh, it's like Chris is going to enter. I think he's in a pit strategy. Pit road as well. Ian Ogden is on pit road as well. Pittman is on. Armstrong, they're all coming down. So we're seeing our leaders now on pit road. We expect to see that's Hermas Castro.
We know he's fast.
Yep, Christopher Howell now assumes the lead. But with these guys getting fresh tires, it could be a struggle to see how long these guys can stay on top of the board.
It's going to be interesting to see. I think it may be for a while, but it's going to be a matter of time. I mean, let's look at some last lap times if we can bring that up. Either, I guess it's going across the top of your screen right now on the left-hand side. I mean, you could see they're begging. They're begging. 115s, 117s, 124. Well, 124 is World there. That was probably his out lap, but still, I mean, it's lap times are starting to diminish, and fresh tires are going to pay off. We'll see what the 88 does here. See if he brings it down pit road this time. There he comes.
We're seeing most of the competitors work their way down pit road. Ryan Pittman, Luke Bullard is out. Sean Schupman is out. Hermas Castro, let's jump to him. He continues to stay out. And now he's got Whirl, who's caught him after his pit stop.
Yep, that's the danger that you play, because, I mean, is he out of gas?
Where about
really
Castro?
He's really slow, Rick. I mean,
Herbert Castro is showing right now he's at 120, 135, 140 miles an hour.
Okay, I mean, he just seems like he's kind of babying it around there. I don't. Trying to push it to the end. I mean, with some of these guys coming down on lap 17, that doesn't really make me hopeful to make it to the end. Maybe he's trying to play the one-stop strategy. That, from what we just saw, that is pretty risky. Unless these guys think they can make it to the end on 23 laps, but I don't think they can.
Well, he's about to go to 20 laps right here. And with no whole full course cautions, he's got to be going in. He is, yeah, he is in. But he can make it.
Yeah, he can do he can do it. It's going to be close because those other drivers are going to have to come pit road, and we'll see who's able to come out on top. But this is going to shake up everything, and we have some commentary over the YouTube chat really quick. Dave Sharon says, awesome telecast, great job. He's working on his man cave and watching. And if I was correct on the strategy, it looks like I am. Jerry Botto says that they need to get to 20 laps for a one pit race. They want to go on a one-stop strategy. So the 25 was saving fuel. Exactly what I thought. So that is correct.
So you've got also the 29 of William Mann Jr. doing the exact same thing. He came in at the same time. So he'll be out as well as I think Marco Berube.
This is going to be interesting, Rick. This is going to be interesting because you're going to have some guys that are going to try to do two stops. And, with pit road speed being very, very slow, it's probably about 20. And I take that back. It's probably more than 20 seconds. I don't know how fast or how long it takes to go from pit road entry to pit road exit, but it's enough.
41 seconds.
41. It's enough to where Castro thinks he can win the race. So it's going to be close. Right now, Castro, he's coming to the line. See how far back he is. Not giving me that information, but Castro is definitely going to be the one to watch.
So right now, Castro is sitting about 37 seconds behind Chris Worrell.
Oh, that is close. That is close to 41. Oh, here we go, folks. It's going to be a close one between Castro, that one stopper, and Worrell, Howell, Surwick.
Yeah, and don't count out William Mann Jr. He also pitted on lap 20, as did Marco Berube. Those are all on lap 20, and all still on the lead lap.
Yep, all on the lead lap for sure.
So interesting, I am seeing Chris Worrell's back to his usual. That last lap was a 1:11.48.
Nothing too unfamiliar out of that camp. And he is definitely the car to beat. He has no pressure from Howell or Surwick. Nobody to really worry about except lap cars, which is always a battle. I mean, you know how it is when you're up front and you have some lap cars in front of you. You just only hope and pray that nothing happens. But he is putting on an absolute clinic here today.
All right, we're going to take this opportunity and run a quick commercial. We'll be back. Hang on, and we'll continue with the IWM broadcast of the 1111 Veterans Projects 40 at the Glen.
When veterans get out of the military, a lot of them don't know how to translate their skill sets into the civilian world, and they lapse into poverty or into homelessness. But it can be easier with the right support. At Tech4Troop's, our mission is to empower veterans in need with computers to get back in the workforce. We want to support our veterans across the nation.
All right, welcome back to the 1111 Veterans Project 40 at the Glen here. I'm Rick Souza here, and with John DeRudris here in the booth with the IWM Broadcast Network, bringing you an exciting road course with these Tech4Troop's Cup Series drivers. Our leader is Chris Worrell. He is out to a commanding lead right now, but don't count others that are behind him. Christopher Howell is right there. Andrew Serwick behind Chris Howell, and Hermas Castro now up to fourth, and behind him, Marco Berube.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting battle to the end. You know, you have all these guys up here. It looks like Marco Berube.
Actually, Marco's just gone a lap down. Yep, so you got Alonzo King. Yep, so with a road course, it's pretty spread out.
And there it is. There is the entire field. You have basically small little clusters of cars on the track. You have some drivers coming down pit road. That's the 91 and making their way down pit road. So we'll see what they are going to do as we have some action going on the front stretch by the start-finish line, I believe. A lot of cars up that portion of the track. Don't know who exactly that is. Oh, well, it's the leader in William Mann Jr. So William Mann Jr. going a lap down. He was part of that crew that is on what we think a one-stop strategy.
Alonzo King is just coming out of the pits. It's on lap 24 here, 25, so he's got enough fuel to make it the rest of the way and not gamble.
Oh, braking mishap right there. Don't know who that was, but had a little smoke from the tires.
We can go on board if you want with Andrew Serwick.
Let's do it. Let's do it. It's one of the places where being on board is awesome. So we'll see these guys go up through the gears, down through the gears, and one of the most exciting portions of the track, the bus stop.
Through the bus stop at nearly 90 miles, 100 miles an hour. You can see his hands working that wheel to stay, keeping that nose pointed forward as he works his way around and hunts down Christopher Howell. That's a battle for position between these two.
Yes, it is. And what you're going to see the different braking points too. So they both brake basically at the same time here. Howell's a little bit higher, Serwick's a little bit lower. You can see him get that better run up. And then a very important corner here, down into the front stretch. He's going to have a run on the 88. Let's see if he goes in.
This all comes down to braking. He has got the advantage. He's got the inside.
Looks like the 88 let him have it. 88's going to cross over on the inside, though, going back up through the S's. He is still to the inside of the 43. And it looks like
he backed out.
Yep.
That's a wise decision on Christopher Howell. Again, it's about position, but it's also about survival.
No, you have to absolutely survive this portion of the track. And, you know, Andrew Serwick is doing what I would highly recommend anybody who's watching along do during that bus stop. It almost looks like you're about to hit that wall, but it's the fastest way around the track. You're trying to basically put the car in an angle to where you can almost fly through that bus stop, because if you try to baby it through the bus stop or take your time rather, you are going to lose so much time. So Serwick doing a great job there in that 43 machine.
Well, that was a great example of how to get around this track aggressively. That last lap, what we saw with Andrew Serwick, that was a 1:11.30 doesn't make a mistake, doesn't have an issue with lap traffic, you are correct, but you just never know.
You never know. You never know. We'll see what his lap time is this next time by. Here he comes to the line. 2 to go. 1:11.3. Wow, that's a fast time. That's about half a second off from qual time. So,
and he's doing that, I think, on the same tires.
I mean, if he is, that's absolutely incredible. I don't know. We'll have to ask. But a 7-second stop with tires, I want to know who they brought over from Formula One. So,
all right. So we are 2 laps to go here. We are watching the 8 of Christopher Worrell take it through the bus stop, work his way down through the carousel.
And here he goes. Almost a clear track in front of him. Got a couple drops. Not really going to be that big of an issue.
Hermas Castro has 12 seconds to make up. It's just not going to happen if all things stay the same. Behind them, it gets pretty far back. Surwick is nearly 33 seconds. Howell, 44. Mike Slagter has moved up. He's in 5th. William Mann Jr. in 6th. Ryan Pittman in 7th. Alonzo King in 8th. Ian Ogden in 9th. And Harley Barletta is in 10th.
Well, this is going to shape out to be a pretty easy victory, I think, for this number 8 machine.
Yep, final lap here at the Glen.
Christopher Worrell putting on an absolute clinic.
Going into the bus stop.
He's still pushing it. He's still like, hey, I can run faster than an 1:11.13. Watch this. Watch him pull out like a 1:10, like 5. Like pulls out something absolutely crazy on the last lap, just trying to show off. I mean, he deserves it. He was able to pull off an amazing race today. Here he goes in the second to last.
He dirt tracks it through that corner.
He is pushing it hard. Out of the last corner at Watkins Glen.
Oh, in the
wall. The wall. Not going to matter. He's going to take home the win in tonight's 11-11 Veteran Project. 40 at the Glen.
Christopher Worrell is your winner. Hermas Castro, a valiant effort, finishes in 2nd with Andrew Surwick in 3rd. Christopher Howell is in 4th, and Mike Slagter finishes. Oh, and William Mann Jr. at the line, I think.
Well, they're still battling. We need to go back to that battle. They are still almost a full lap behind. Here's Christopher Howell still making it to the line. And then William Mann Jr. and Mike Slagter still back there.
William Mann Jr., yeah, he's got a pretty good gap over him. I think 10 or 12 cars through the bus stop.
That's the only battle on the track that is still on the lead laps. Here, if everything holds smooth, there's a leader. Shows you how far ahead he was. Here comes William Mann Jr. and Mike Slagter for the last lead lap cars. William Mann Jr. is going to pull off a 5th place finish and Mike Slagter a 6th place finish. There is your victor tonight, the number 8 Cyber Power Chevrolet of Chris Worrell brings home the victory here at the Glen. Burn it down, Mr. Chris. And it looks like the 25 of Hermas Castro did in fact run out of fuel in the last corner. So didn't affect his position, but congratulations to the 8 machine. We're going to bring you interviews very soon.